People say that laughter is the best cure for what ails us. Sometimes it's the only cure we have. And the jokes we choose to laugh at may tell us something about our values. NPR science correspondent Shankar Vedantam reports on an academic study of humor, which may make us laugh, or in some cases, be warned, it might offend us.
It's Saturday night at the Metropolitan Room, a comedy club in New York City. The MC, Jimmy Fallon, is warming up the crowd.
Where are you guys from? Boston, home of the Red Sox. Personally, we prefer you rooted for the Taliban, but we'll take it.
There are 50 or 60 people in the audience sipping cocktails. Fela has a system. He asks people where they're from, most are locals. He then hits them with something they can relate to.
We'll take it.
There's a man at one of the tables in the darkened room. His name is Robert Lynch. He's a local, loves comedy, but he's also here because he's a researcher.
It was interesting to me to try to deconstruct a joke and find out what it is that was making people laugh.
Now, you may ask why anyone would want to study laughter. Don't scientists have better things to do, like cure cancer? Turns out, laughter's very interesting from a scientific perspective. People in all cultures laugh. The instinct for humor seems built in, like the potential for language or the ability to see. Humor is really important.
So the fact that it's so important implies that there is an evolutionary function.
Lynch believes a sense of humor must have given our ancestors a functional advantage. He wants to understand what that advantage is. He wants to know why humor evolved. As he listens to the comics at the Metropolitan Room, he does two things. He listens to the jokes, but he also observes how the audience reacts. For Robert Lynch, your reaction not only says something about whether the joke worked, your reaction says something about you. Lynch recently conducted an experiment that proves this. He had volunteers listen to an edgy stand-up comic named Bill Burr.
He has a joke about why men make more money than women for doing the exact same job. The punchline is, well, I'll tell you why. In the unlikely case that we're both on the Titanic and it starts to sink, you get to leave with the kids, and I get to stay. So call it $1 an hour surcharge.
Lynch also gave the volunteers a psychological test that measured their unconscious gender attitudes. What he found was that volunteers with traditional gender views, people who believed women ought to stay home rather than go to work, laughed harder at that joke than volunteers with more progressive views.
People's implicit beliefs, kind of unconscious beliefs and preferences matched what they found funny.
It was hard evidence. Humor reveals our internal preferences. A joke is like a little brain scan. When we laugh, we reveal what's inside us. Lynch, who's finishing his PhD in evolutionary anthropology at Rutgers University, thinks evolution may have hardwired a sense of humor into our species because laughter serves as a signal. When you and I laugh at the same joke, we signal to each other that we share the same values, the same beliefs. This may be why people all over the world want friends and romantic partners who share their sense of humor. Lynch told me the research helped him understand something important about himself.
I've always been curious why it seemed to make such a big difference to me, whether it was girls that I dated or friends that I had, that they shared my sense of humor or that they laughed at my jokes.
His research helped him understand. Since laughter signals shared values, it made sense he'd be drawn to people who laughed at the same jokes, to people who laughed at his jokes. In another experiment, Lynch sought to understand the connection between laughter and the psychological trait of self-deception. Self-deceivers are people who don't see their own values, motives, and beliefs clearly.
I simply gave people a self-deception test and measured their facial expressions in response to a stand-up comedian. And there was a very strong association between the two.
Self-deceivers were less likely to laugh. It made sense to Lynch. You laugh when a joke resonates with your inner values and beliefs. If you're out of touch with your own values and beliefs, as self-deceivers are, you're less likely to find jokes funny. Now, if you're a normal academic and you make an interesting finding, you publish your paper in a scientific journal and move on. But for Lynch, that wasn't enough. You see, Lynch has a second life that I haven't told you about. I'll just let Jimmy Fallon, the MC at the Metropolitan Room, tell you.
Very funny, man. Come to the stage to start it off.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.